Well, hello, BookTube. Welcome to the History Shelf. It's been a while, right? It's been a pretty busy month. However, I had to make this video. I had to make my Halloween video. Wah, wah, wah. Does that work for you? Yes, I am a big fan of Halloween, so let's do it. Let's get jacked. I pulled out a bunch of horror novels that I've been wanting to read. A lot of these are new. And I don't want to call this a TBR because there's like 8 books here, and there's no way I'm going to read 8 books this month on top of everything else that I'm reading. But I've got a couple I got my eye on that and I've already started reading one. So without further ado, guys, I hope you enjoy a good horror novel, good horror movie. I sure do. We sure do in this house. We've got some of our Halloween decorations up, and we're ready to roll. We're ready for the temperatures to drop here as well. And having said that, too, I want to just throw out all my thoughts and prayers to everyone who is in Florida. I've been praying for you guys. I have an aunt who was right in the path of both hurricanes, and you're on our mind. So any of you guys who are in Florida right now, I just, or you have family there, I'm thinking of you. And I just wanted to put that out there. All right. So let's move into the books, shall we? So this is a book that came out a couple of months ago. I saw it make the rounds on a lot of different BookTube channels. If anyone would like to have me do a follow-up video, maybe in November-ish, to talk about the horror books I've read, and I can report back. I could definitely report back on this one. This is going to be a very fast read. I've already started it, and we are zipping along. But this is Horror Movie, a novel by Paul Tremblay. It's put out by William Morrow Books. See, it's a skinny little thing, but it has a lot of fun elements in it. It's got elements of the script writing of the actual. Well, let me read the description so it makes sense to you. I had to, since I haven't made a video in a couple of weeks, it's been a long time, I know, been making some changes with my diet, which has kind of affected my my sleep patterns, but they've gotten better. My sleep patterns have gotten better, and I'm feeling as good as I've ever have. Drinking if you can believe this, I'm not drinking a Pepsi today. I am drinking an Olipop, which supports digestive health. I've tried a bunch of these different flavors, and it's a nice, there's only 2 grams of sugar, and it's all like monk's fruit or stevia extract. There's no sugar. This is all plant-based soda. And this cream soda is actually quite tasty. But anyway, on top of that, October, like I said, is my really busy work month. And I'll be traveling in a couple of weeks for that, for work. So I'm going to be gone for a whole week. So sorry for the dearth of videos in October, but that's the way it always will be. Okay, guys, so here we go. Horror Movie. Here's the synopsis. In June 1993, a group of young guerrilla filmmakers spent 4 weeks making Horror Movie, a notorious, disturbing art house horror flick. The weird part? Only 3 of the film's scenes were ever released to the public, but Horror Movie has nevertheless grown a rabid fan base. 3 decades later, Hollywood is pushing for a big-budget reboot. The man who played the Thin Kid is the only surviving cast member. He remembers all too well the secrets buried within the original screenplay, the bizarre events of the filming, and the dangerous crossed lines on set that resulted in tragedy. As memories flood back in, the boundaries between reality and film, past and present, start to blur. But he's going to help remake the film, even if it means navigating a world of cynical producers, egomaniacal directors, and surreal fan conventions. Demons of the past be damned. But at what cost? Horror Movie is an obsessive, psychologically chilling, and suspenseful feat of storytelling genius that builds inexorably to an unforgettable, mind-bending conclusion. So many adjectives. And yeah, and I'm noticing too, I still have to get to all these boxes here to show you all the books that have arrived. Ah. All right, horror movie. Have started this already, and I'll be finished with this one. This is a nice break. This is a little palate cleanser for me when I'm taking a break from my book review work, which I have a lot of. I've pulled back on a couple of things, but with me being gone in 2 weeks, I've got about 4 to 5 books to read and review before I even head off to my day jobs conference. So, but this is going to be a nice change of pace when I just want to squeeze in 30 minutes of fun, just fun, guilty pleasure reading, and this is it. And this is the month to do it. I love the Halloween time. I love October. Okay, next book I really want to get to. It's a bigger book, so I don't think I'll finish it in October, but I hope to have it finished maybe by early November-ish. But I heard about this author through another booktuber's channel, and he had just finished reading this in hardcover. I think he's over in the UK. And he was just raving about it, and made it sound like it was really just fascinating and scary. And so I thought I'd try it. I've never read Adam Neville, but now I have picked up this book, his novel Last Days. Now I believe, yeah, he's a UK writer, Adam Neville. So I've actually, I think I always ordered this on Amazon. I think, and there's our author, Adam Neville. He actually, I didn't realize this. He actually wrote the book that I had seen made into a Netflix movie about a year or two ago. I think it was called The Ritual. So I didn't know it was based on his book, but I kind of liked it. It was kind of trippy. The Ritual kind of reminded me a little bit of Midsommar, that movie that Ari Fleischer did. Not Ari Fleischer, right? Am I thinking of a newsman? It's that director who's prominent with A24 Productions, which is mostly, they did Hereditary, they did scary, like just over the top stuff, like really disturbing stuff. A24. I love those studios. They do fantastic work in the horror genre, in the horror field, as it were. So Last Days. Oh, and here's another, gosh, we're on a theme here. When guerrilla documentary maker, so we've got 2 books about guerrilla filmmakers, okay. When guerrilla documentary maker Kyle Freeman is asked to shoot a film on the notorious cult known as the Temple of the Last Days, it appears his prayers have been answered. The cult became a worldwide phenomenon in 1975 when there was a massacre including the death of its infamous leader, Sister Catherine. Kyle's brief is to explore the paranormal myths surrounding an organization that became a testament to paranoia, murderous rage, and occult rituals. The shoot's locations take him to the cult's first temple in London, an abandoned farm in France, and a derelict copper mine in the Arizonan desert, where the Temple of the Last Days met its bloody end. But when he interviews those involved in the case, those who haven't broken silence in decades, a series of uncanny events plague the shoots. Troubling out-of-body experiences, nocturnal visitations, the sudden demise of their interviewees, and the discovery of ghastly artifacts make Kyle question what exactly it is the cult has awoken, as well as its interest in him. So, again, like these 2 books kind of are of a piece with the filmmaking aspect, which I really enjoy. This book is over 500 pages, so this is a big one. Last Days by Adam Neville, but I'm really intrigued, and it's definitely the top 3 of the books that are here. Okay, next one I want to get to, because I do want to report back on this, because I'm thinking of making a standalone video. I've just really been inspired by the arrival of October, and just feeling the excitement for Halloween. And I've been wanting to do a Stephen King video, just talking about my favorite Stephen King novel, of all times. Because you know what? When I grew up, that's how I really got into reading, along with Louis L'Amour, my Westerns. And as I got a little older, then I kind of switched over to horror. And I read almost everything by Stephen King, although I haven't technically read everything because he was so prolific, you know, and I kind of moved over to nonfiction as I aged. But I got a review copy from Scribner of this, and I want to read it and get back to you guys. So it's a book of his short stories, and this is, I think you've seen this everywhere on BookTube right now, Stephen King's You Like It Darker. So thanks to the folks at Scribner for this review copy. I've been hearing some really good things. Some of the reviews on this book have been pretty good. And I've always enjoyed his short stories, even more so than his novels. So I'm hoping this one's going to, kind of fit the bill for me here. So let's see here. So, blah, blah, blah. This is a new collection of 12 short stories, many never before published, and some of his best ever, in big capital letters. Ever. You like it darker? Fine, so do I, writes Stephen King in the afterword to this magnificent new collection of 12 stories that delve into the darker part of life, both metaphorical and literal. King has, for half a century, been a master of the form, and these stories about fate, mortality, luck, and the folds in reality where anything can happen are as rich and riveting as his novels, both weighty in theme and a huge pleasure to read. King writes to feel the exhilaration of leaving ordinary day-to-day life behind, and in You Like It Darker, readers will feel that exhilaration too, again and again. Should I read all the... They kind of give you a synopsis of some of the stories. Let's see. Yeah, I'll leave it there because I don't want to, take up too much time reading that. There are 12 short stories. It says each of these stories holds its own thrills, joys, and mysteries. Each feels iconic. You like it darker? You got it. All right. So, let's see here. And this book is almost, well, let me see. I think it is 500 pages on the dot. 502 pages with the afterword. So I'm looking forward to reading the afterword as well. So Stephen King's brand new book, you got to have it on a Halloween reading list. You got to have a Stephen King, right? Right? So like those are the top 3. Now these books would be ones I would love to get to. So let's talk about this book. This book came out a couple years ago. And I wasn't even aware of it. And Nightfire, which is the an imprint of Tor. Nightfire, so cool. Ooh, that's, yeah, Nightfire is like they do the horror side of Tor. So yeah, I was one of the first readers of this book, but I just didn't get around to it. But I will this time because I have heard so many things about this book. But when I got this book, I'm just going to tell you, the jacket, the artwork on the front completely threw me. The Last House on Needless Street by Katrina Ward. Now, at first I'm like, this looks like a cozy, this looks like a young adult novel. The cat, it just doesn't look scary to me. I thought, I was like, really? But then I started hearing about this book from readers on BookTube, and they're telling me it's terrifying and it's disturbing. And so I'm like, this book? It looks like a cat mystery, But yeah, The Last House on Needless Street by, at first I said Katrina, and Martine corrected me. She goes, it's Katrina, I think. She said, maybe it is Katrina. I don't know. You never know these days how people want to pronounce their names, so or not, or how they're named. But let's see here. She's from the UK. Katrina. I'm getting hung up on needless stuff on Needless Street. But look at the blurb on the front by Stephen King. So I mean, he liked it. I really do want to check this out. So let's get into it. What's this one about? In a boarded up house on a dead end street at the edge of the wild Washington woods lives a family of 3. A teenage girl who isn't allowed outside, not after last time. A man who drinks alone in front of his TV, trying to ignore the gaps in his memory. And a house cat who loves napping and reading the Bible. An unspeakable secret binds them together, but when a new neighbor moves in next door, what is buried among the birch trees may come back to haunt them all. The Last House on Needless Street is an immersive and shocking journey that will keep you guessing until the last page. So it doesn't give you too much, except some 3 very odd characters, and one of them is the cat. Okay, so interesting. And there's our author. Very nice, very nice. This book's about 330 pages or so. So The Last House on Needless Street. Of course, if any of you out there watching this video have read any of these that I'm showing or I'm about to show, please comment below and let me know what you thought. But no spoilers, okay? Yeah, so Tor and Nightfire, I promise I'm still going to get to this book. Okay. Another book I've seen making the rounds on BookTube, and I have 2 books by this author. I think, well, I know for sure I have one of them, The Dangers of Smoking in Bed. But this is a big, bodacious novel. In fact, I think I saw the same booktuber talk about this who talked about Last Days by Adam Neville. And he also liked this book, but looks really good. This is Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. This is put out by Hogarth Books. Like a nice, big, beefy horror novel. Who doesn't love those, right? Yeah, she's written... Oh, even Kazuo Ishiguro has given a big... what do you call it? Blurb here, the most exciting discovery I've made in fiction for some time. Oh, well, okay. That was for The Dangers of Smoking in Bed, but still. Oh, yeah, the other book she wrote was Our Share of Night and Things We Lost in the Fire. I still want to get Things We Lost in the Fire. Oh, actually, I might have that one and not The Dangers of Smoking in Bed. What? Ooh, look at that. Wait, Our Share of Night is this, but what am I talking about? Okay, duh. Well, it just has it listed there, Our Share of Night. I got that. I don't have one of the others. Okay, let's... I get hung up on details sometimes. So, what is this one about? I will tell you. A young father and son set out on a road trip, devastated by the death of the wife and mother they both loved. United in grief, the pair travel to her ancestral home, where they must confront the terrifying legacy she has bequeathed. The woman they mourn came from a clan like no other, a centuries-old secret society called the Order that commits unspeakable acts in search of eternal life. For Gaspar, the son, this maniacal cult is his destiny, and now he is in danger. As the Order tries to possess him, father and son take flight, yet nothing will stop the Order, for nothing is beyond them. But how far will Gaspar's father go to protect his child? And can anyone escape their fate? Moving back and forth in time from London in the swinging 1960s to the brutal years of Argentina's military dictatorship and its turbulent aftermath, Our Share of Night is a novel like no other. A family story, a ghost story, a story of the occult and the supernatural, a book about the complexities of love and longing with queer subplots and themes. This is the masterwork of one of Latin America's most original novelists, a mesmerizing writer, says Dave Eggers, who demands to be read. And I demand to read it. And here is our author. Oh, and I should say this book is translated by Megan McDowell. Okay. See, they shouldn't have that so small. It should be bigger. I mean, that's a lot of work to translate an entire book and get it right. So another book that has a cult in it. So we go from, what do we do? So we got Last Days is about a cult, right? And now we've got this one as well. This book is, how many pages? It's a big one. 586 pages or so. So, but it's on my list of horror books I cannot wait to get to. And I thought I'd elevate it for you guys as well. All right, what else we got here? And then we got a little history. You got to have at least one title that's tied in with history, right? I got an advanced review copy. This book just came out on October 1st. This is from Algonquin Books. But this is going to be really good when I want to change it up and just get a little more nonfiction. But this is American Scary, A History of Horror from Salem to Stephen King and Beyond by Jeremy Dober. Ooh, I love it. Okay, let me just tell you what this is about. America is held captive by horror stories. They flicker on the screen of a darkened movie theater and are shared around the campfire. They blare out in tabloid true crime headlines and in the worried voices of local news anchors. They are consumed virally on the phones in our pockets. Like the victims in any slasher movie worth its salt, we can't escape the thrall of scary stories. In American Scary, noted cultural historian and Columbia professor Jeremy Dober takes the reader to the startling origins of horror in the U.S. Dober draws a captivating through line that ties historical influences ranging from the Salem witch trials and enslaved person narratives directly to the body of work we more closely associate with horror today. The weird tales of H.P. Lovecraft, the lingering fiction of Shirley Jackson, the disquieting films of Alfred Hitchcock, the up-all-night stories of Stephen King, and the gripping critiques of Jordan Peele. With the dexterous weave of insight and style that have made him one of America's leading historians of popular culture, Dober makes the haunting case that horror reveals the true depths of the American mind. Fascinating. So this book is out right now if you want to look it up at your library. We've got featuring cameos from, let's see, I'll name some of the others in here. Washington Irving. Oh, Alien, the movie. Yes. My favorite movie of all time, along with The Godfather. Night of the Living Dead, I Am Legend, The Handmaid's Tale, Twilight Zone, Ralph Ellison, The Blair Witch Project, yes. Yeah, okay, Edith Wharton, Dracula, H.G. Wells. There's a lot of stuff in here, folks. Let's see. Yeah, so a little over 400 pages, but it's a fun way to kind of mix up the horror fiction with, of course, history. You got to have some of that too. So another book I'm looking forward to skipping through, tapping into. I might just pick and choose where I dive in, especially like things that I really enjoy, like Alien, Shirley Jackson. I love the Blair Witch Project. Oh, they mentioned The Walking Dead here as well. Psycho, and again, Alfred Hitchcock, big fan. So check out American Scary by Jeremy Dober from Algonquin Books, out now. And then this book, I wasn't sure if I had shown it. I don't think I have yet. This was in one of my recent book hauls from Book Outlet, and from a stack that I left downstairs and haven't filmed yet. So I just went and grabbed it just for the purposes of this video. But I got this off of, was it Book Outlet or was it Hamilton Book? I think it was Book Outlet. Well, either way, I picked up Goblin, a novel in 6 novellas by Josh Mailman. He was the guy that wrote Bird Box, that was turned into a Netflix movie, really on the heels very quickly of, I think, when they released A Quiet Place on Netflix. Because I remember I was like, Bird Box, it looks, are they trying to like ride on the coattails of A Quiet Place? But anyway, I read the description of Goblin, and then I saw the reviews for it, and I was like, oh, it sounds like it could be really good. And again, I like collections of stories. And it just has they kind of have a really each novella is kind of, you got this yeah, it's like this dark kind of page prologue. Welcome. Ooh. All right. But I think so. A novel and 6 novellas, and so they all tie together, right? So I kind of like that. Kind of reminds me of a movie that when I found it a few years ago, many years ago, and then I recommended it to, like, for a scary movie night. All my friends and family were just, they loved it. They said that was such a great movie, and it was called Trick or Treat. So it had like 3 to 4 different storylines in this neighborhood. And you didn't really know they were all connected in some way. And it was so smart. It was so clever. I love movies like that. And I'd love to read a book like that as well. So hopefully this one will be just as smart. Let me read this to you. Goblin seems like any other ordinary small town. Except for its name, of course, right? Goblin. But with master storyteller Josh Mailman as your tour guide. Is it Mallerman or Mailerman? I'll just say Josh Mallerman. Okay. So as Mallerman is your tour guide, you'll discover the secrets that hide behind its closed doors. These 6 novellas tell the story of a place where the rain is always falling, nighttime is always near, and your darkest fears and desires await. Welcome to Goblin. So the first story is A Man in Slices. A man proves his legendary love to his girlfriend with a sacrifice even more daring than Vincent van Gogh's, and sends her more than his heart. Oh boy. And the next story is called Camp, with a K. Walter Camp is afraid of everything, but most afraid of being scared to death. As he sets traps around his home to catch the ghosts that haunt him, he learns that nothing is more terrifying than fear itself. Next story, Happy Birthday Hunter. A famed big game hunter is determined to capture and kill the ultimate prey, the mythic great owl who lives in Goblin's dark forests. But this mysterious creature is not the only secret the woods are keeping. Next story is called Presto. All Peter wants is to be like his hero, Roman Emperor, the greatest magician in the world. Okay, when the famous magician comes to Goblin, Peter discovers that not all magic is simply an illusion. And the next story is called A Mix-Up at the Zoo. The new zookeeper feels a mysterious kinship with the animals in his care and finds that his work is freeing dark forces inside him. Oh boy. And then the final story, The Hedges. When his wife dies, a man builds a hedge maze so elaborate that no one ever solves it, until a little girl resolves to be the first to find the mysteries that wait at its heart. And there's the maze right there on the cover. And also, I really just love this cover. This cover was so, I dig it. This is great. That is a great cover. All right, so that's Josh Mailman's Goblin. You can pick it up. It's available on both Book Outlet and Hamilton, I believe. HamiltonBook.com at a bargain book rate. Now, for a little levity, here's my final horror book, as a joke. But just the title and then the cover of this book itself, I'm like, it looks like a Halloween book. But no, this is Unhumans, The Secret History of Communist Revolutions and How to Crush Them. And what also is scary is that the foreword, I didn't realize this after I got it, the foreword was by Stephen K. Bannon. Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah, this is going to be just kind of fun. Oh, the authors are Jack Posobiec and Joshua Lysek. Anyway, Unhumans, How to Crush Communism. As you know, I'm not a fan of communism at all, or people who stupidly adhere to that, but whatever. Just my opinion. My channel, my opinion, right? Okay, I mean, this is gonna be kind of, I guess, political, but yeah, it kind of looks at Well, let me just hold this up here. If you don't understand communist revolutions, you aren't ready for what's coming. The old rules are over. Oh, and by the way, I got a review copy from Skyhorse Publishing. Thank you so much, Skyhorse Publishing. The old rules are over. The old order is over. Accusations are evidence. Activism means bigotry and hate. Criminals are allowed to roam free. Citizens are locked up. An appetite for vengeance is unleashed to deplatform, debank, destroy. This is the daily news, yet none of it's new. Patterns from the past make sense of our present, and I agree with that. They also foretell a terrifying future we might be condemned to endure. It's basically saying, we're in a new revolution right now. It says this, okay, it says, but this is not a book about ideology or politics. Really? Okay, Unhumans reveals that communism, socialism, Marxism, and all other radical isms are not philosophies, but tactics. Tactics that are specifically designed to unleash terror on everyday people and revoke their human rights to life, liberty, and property. These are the forces of unhumanity. This is what they do every single time. Unhumans steals their playbook, breaks apart their strategies piece by piece, and lays out the tactics of what it takes to fight back and win using real-world examples. Interesting. So yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there as the Halloween read, as the horror read. It's just, look at that skull. Unhuman is the sickle and the hammer. Oh. Okay, so yeah, this could be a great fun read, or it could be something I just roll my eyes at. I don't know. We'll find out. But it looks like there's a lot of history in here too, so. All right. So that that wraps up my Halloween my gosh, I can't call it a TBR because I'm not going to read all these, but I do have the top 2 or 3, and I hope you found something here. If you enjoy a good horror novel, maybe you got an idea for something good. Wow, look at those. So yeah, guys, maybe I'll make another Halloween. Maybe I'll try to have the horror movie book read. I'll have that read by Halloween, and I'll try to make another video. And I can come back and talk about that one. Who knows? I think I have a few more like classic horror novels that I could also do another Halloween video on. I didn't include them because it's like I already have 8 books to show. I don't need to throw in 2 more. But anyway, guys, are you ready for Halloween? Let's get jacked. What are you reading for Halloween? I want to know. So, because I always love like horror recommendations and movie recommendations. If you have a movie recommendation, let me know. I should say that I have pretty much seen I have watched horror movies since I was a young kid. I've seen just about everything. Let me just say, I don't like torture. I don't like torture porn. I don't like anything like Hostel, Saw, things that are just blatantly about suffering, physical suffering, and mental torture like that. Not down with it. And physical torture, mental and physical torture. That's not, to me, scary. That's just sadistic. So I like things that go bump in the night. I like unexplained things. Sometimes I don't watch a lot of it because it's a little too real for me. Sometimes, being a Christian, I don't like to watch anything with too much like Satan stuff. Like we watched Longlegs a few weeks ago, and wow, talk about, that was hands down the most disturbing movie I've seen all year, if not in the last 2 years. So yeah. So, but if you have recommendations, throw them my way in the comments below. I'll be looking. I'm always looking at comments. I might not have a lot of time to reply, guys, but I do try to reply, or at least acknowledge that you've commented with a heart, because I love everyone who comments. You guys are great. All right, guys. So until next time, thanks for joining me for this special Halloween edition of the History Shelf. And I'll be back real soon. Yeah, pretty soon. I got to make a couple more videos before I take off in a couple weeks. So anyway, guys, take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.